And Lady Tracy.
Lady Leah, with green peeking out of her skirt. And Lady Tracy with the bear shield. Tracy is using a heater shield, which would have been a later period shield. As armor got better and better, shields got smaller and smaller and eventually vanished from the battlefield. Leah is fighting in a two-handed style, using an arming or bastard sword.
At the ready, and lay on.
Now you'll notice that they're going to be swinging for the helmets. Even if you cannot hurt someone through a big, thick helmet, striking the helmet gets them to think about their own mortality as they lose the hold. So she came in right up under the gorget. Our gorgets are rolled to prevent a blade from sliding further, but in a real fight, that would have been the end of it. Now, we talk about ending fights and killing fights. The reality is the rules of chivalry were designed to protect knights from being killed, because knights were far more valuable to be captured by an opponent, because then they could take that and they could ransom them back. You are worth far more alive than you are dead as a knight.
Would you guys maybe hit each other a little more quietly? I'm trying to tell stories on the other side of the castle, and I can barely hear myself think, oh, you've hurt me. Oh, the pain is too much. Oh, you have a pretty sword. I like the way your helmet is shaped. Could you keep it down just a little bit?
Well, you sort of lost me at the part where you claimed to be able to hear yourself think.
Touche, the good night. Touche.
Oh! Now, both fighters are wearing chainmail. Chainmail is great protection because a blade cannot cut it, but it can be pierced if it has the entire body weight moving behind it. So Tracy was able to plant the tip of her sword and step in with body weight to finish Leah off with the thrust. Carry on.
Fighters, would you hear go one final pass?
I can do one more.
One more? Very well. Crowd, they are going to go one more. Give them your voices. Lay on.
Now, back to the value of knights. When Henry V ordered the execution of prisoners after the battle, he made himself very unpopular on both sides. Not only because he killed all the opposing knights, but he also denied his own men the opportunity to ransom those knights. He hit them in the pocketbook. And it's just as painful now as it is then.
I believe we have a double kill. Arm in arm to Valhalla, ladies.
To Valhalla!
That way! Now, as the next two fighters get geared up, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my favorite weapon, the sword. This particular one is my favorite swords. Don't tell the other swords I have favorites. You've seen us swing the swords around and make it look really, really easy and really, really light. We'll be circulating after this to let you hold a sword and see what we're working with. The sword is a lever. If you try and swing the sword just at your arm, you're going to get tired. However, the sword works around a center of gravity. If I move the sword around the center of gravity, the sword does all the work for me. I don't have to use my arm at all. Rather than moving the blade, I pull back on the pommel. If I pull back on the pommel, the blade traverses nearly 180 degrees with almost no effort on my part. And if you're fighting all day in the hot sun, that no effort part is really, really important. The sword will generate enough power on its own. And the Wolverine of Warrenshire is facing off against Evil Erica. Both using arming swords.
At the ready, lay on.
Now you see that Sir Greg's sword.
Oh!
If you visited the Museum of Nature, the etymology collection looks much like that.
Helmet square, please.
Small minor armor adjustment.
On both sides. Yes. Okay.
Now you'll notice, oh, you're good.
Check this thing. Lead it. Right. Take 2 steps backward. Here. 3 steps forward. And 4. Play. Ready? Lay on.
Now with all our students, our goal is to get everybody in with fully armored combat. But it doesn't mean you can't start easy. In this particular case,
Oh! Oh! Good step.
yep.
One more pass. One more pass. Let's call for one more pass round. Give them your
Now you'll see that Erica does not wear any leg armor right now. And Sir Greg is aware of this and is not targeting her knees or ankles.
That's my advantage.
I know it.
Now, Greg is our instructor in unarmed combat. So you can see what Greg likes to do more than anything else. Beautifully done, Erica. Oh! Oh!
No, not hold. Keep fighting.
Oh, and he's in. Ow! A little bit about the development of language. And you just saw 2 sterling examples of that. The bit on the end of the sword that adds balance is called a pommel. We currently use a derivation of this word, pummel, because you can use the pommel to pummel an opponent. Now we have Dangerous Dan Garvey and the Rusted Ravager taking the stage.
Awesome.
Now having a discussion with the marshals. Everybody fights a little different. They're comfortable with different levels of combat. Some people do not like going to the ground. Some people have weak knees, old injuries, carpal tunnel syndrome. So we have a discussion with the marshal before every bout to determine what the limits of those bouts are. Because one of the rules is everybody stays friends when it's over.
Holding. Keep ready. Lay off.
Now you can see Dan is using a smaller shield, very similar to an Italian buckler. What he's going to do is use that shield to not only protect his body, but also cover and hide the movements of his sword.
Oh! Whoa! We only stayed there for a second. It would have been long enough for... So after Ben go.
One more pass.
Lay on!
Oh, that he lost some piano lessons. Now you'll notice that the Ravager also uses his shield offensively as well as defensively, bringing it across the box of his opponent.
One more. Now. Ground! They say one more!
All right.
Fighters! Lay on! We'll do rondos for that
Hold! Look away, children, look away.
Fighters! Well done!
Somebody help Erica.
As the next 2 fighters get on the field. Oh my goodness.
Going to be interesting.
Do you drive a Hummer?
Okay, fighters!
Yes. We might need a wider angle lens for this one. The most famous of the long spears used was the spear that the Spartans used. The Spartans used an 8-foot spear, approximately called a dory. And when you were finding dory in the Spartan times, it wasn't nearly as much fun as Disney.
Salute your most noble and honorable opponent. Okay, you're ready. Lay off.
Now Erica is going to try and get past. Ooh. Pow!
Wait, progress. Erica, keep that shield in front of you. Slam this spear aside and kill the man.
The spear was one of the first weapons to enter the battlefield as soon as someone managed to sharpen a stick, and one of the last ones to leave. In fact, it really hasn't left it. It's placed on the battlefield by the rifle and bayonet, which is used as a short spear. Hold, hold, hold! For those who might have missed it, Sir Andrew abandoned his spear and drew his rondelle, which is a knife hanging in front of his body. A rondelle is a edgeless stabbing weapon, much like what's called a misericord dagger, which Ambrose Bierce in the Devil's Dictionary said was a tool that is used to remind the knight of his mortality. Yep.
Yeah, I know.
Andrew is one of our senior fighters. I understand this happens.
There we are. You are on after. All right, fighters, think you're ready? Let's pass. Lay on.
Nope, just on the skirt. Caught. Nice. Now he's using the butt of the spear. Erica's abandoned the shield. Ow!
Well done. Well done, ladies and
Well played.
Squire, please, what weapon? Hey, nice. Take your lead.
Sir Andrew, can I borrow you for just a moment while I've got you? Now you'll notice that Sir Andrew is viewing the entire world through a very thin slit of his visor, which means